Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us on this webinar. My name is Avinash Kulkarni, leading the enterprise sales in Rapyder. With me are the two speakers, Atreya and Chetan. So I'll introduce them after a few seconds. So this is the two panelists. We have decided that this should be a very short webinar, just 30 minutes, because time is at a premium. We wanted to have a short webinar and see, can we still retain the interest of our esteemed partners, customers, and potential customers? So this will be, we have kept you all on mute by default, but we will allow a few questions to be asked to the panelists at the end of the show. We will have two poll questions just to gauge the audience reaction. So we are just focusing on SaaS here. SaaS is software as a service, not as in TV serials, SaaS bhi kabhi bahuti. So I would say SaaS bhi kabhi single tenanted thi. Now it is multi-tenanted. This is the way to go for all product companies or people who have legacy applications. So with that, I'll ask Atreya Ramdas, our founder CTO, to talk about the way which Rapyder has adopted to this SaaSification. After Atreya will be Chetan Krishna. Before Atreya begins, I'll request Shankar to maybe run. We have just two poll questions. The first one will be now displayed for about 20-25 seconds. You can answer. Just one question will be sent as a poll now. Shankar, can you put that up? Are you already aware of SaaS, software as a service? So we just need your responses, either as yes or as no. Thank you. Thanks for participating and logging in, and thanks for answering this question. So Atreya will speak next and then followed by Chetan.
Thank you, Avinash. Hey, everyone. Good evening to all of you. First of all, thanks for joining this session. In this times, I know attending a session of 30 minutes is of utmost importance for you. Thank you for your valuable time that you have shown us in joining this. Now, let's begin on what is SaaS. SaaS is nothing but software as a service. So today, from the previous things, we have seen that all our services were being delivered as a multi-tenant or a single tenant kind of architecture. That is, if I want to buy something as a software, it will be deployed on my premise today as a single tenant deployment. But since last 10 years or so, things have changed completely with the advent of internet. So everything is turning into a web-based deployment, and it becomes very easy to deliver services through internet so that the customers can experience the things that they want to achieve and what they want to get, whether it is shopping on Amazon, whether it is Flipkart, or whether you want to book a cab, everything is on your device or on the internet directly. You need not call anybody. You need not have any service that is directly deployed for you. So that is the power of SaaS. Why SaaS is important and why customers are, what is the customers telling as part of the market today in the this? This is the IDC survey that Amazon has run as part of their survey. Now, what in this we see is close to 72% of the customers are considering SaaS as one of their applications to host their applications and give as a service, because any other way of mode has limited reachability, difficult to close and give continuous service to the customers, right? When it comes to value proposition of SaaS, why SaaS delivers more value? So as a customer, if you have a SaaS product, you can do small modifications, you can build your product in a better way and do small adjustments and new services that you can build on top of it. That means you can grow along with the product that is there. Unlike your on-prem deployment or a single tenant deployment, where things become difficult for you, once you deploy, the additional overhead of professional services to deploy your new changes also come into the play. When it comes into the speed, with everybody going after certain section of the crowd, if you take food delivery, for example, there are so many players, Swiggy, Zomato. For you to be up in the game, you have to ensure that you have to be fast in releasing new features and think innovative things there. To think innovative is one thing, but to deliver it is in the second thing. So that's where SaaS companies have moved up the ladder to deliver better services and better innovation, because they can think fast and implement fast overall on what they want to give it to the customers as end usage. Definitely, the other important thing to run any business is the cost. Cost becomes very important. When it becomes SaaS, I am using the same deployment that I have as a single deployment for serving multiple customers. That means, depending on the type of the product that I am in, whether it is fintech or whether it is any other technology that I'm using, I have complete visibility on how can I architect my product to make use of all common parameters so that my cost is down overall, but at the same time maintain the flexibility and also the segregatability between one customer's data to the other customer's data. Other main thing that comes out of SaaS is to deliver recurring revenue to the business as well. As you as a customer, if you want to not give one-time selling of the product, we all know how difficult it is to get one-time sell. It's important that we all realize that recurring revenue is the way to go, and SaaS helps you do that, because once you sell your product, you can continue to build your business on top of recovering value that you are giving by giving additional value services to the customer on top of it. Right? This is the entire value proposition of SaaS, how it will help the customers. And that's why SaaS is regaining value in the market. Now, what does the customer expect out of SaaS? Now I talked about what business expects, but what the customer expect out of a SaaS when they're building a SaaS platform. They expect frictionless onboarding so that they don't spend time and money to onboard customers one at a time. As I told you, if it's a single tenant deployment, every time you onboard a new customer, you'll have to spend professional services time. You have to spend time with the customer, go to the customer's location, install, cost of acquiring the hardware on the customer location. That it has a lot of friction with the customer's onboarding process, and it's not very feasibly fast also. Next one is consumption-based pricing. Since most of the SaaS companies use cloud, it becomes very easy for them to configure and transparently give to the end users also consumption-based pricing. If a high value customer comes in who will use more as part of his platform, then I'll charge him more. If he is a small value customer and if he's using only one bit of platform, then I can charge him less depending on his usage. That's one of the main selling points. Next one is, as I told you, innovation is something that can be done pretty fast. That also can be rolled out faster to take out risks and competition in the market. Second one is, it becomes very important that we can simplify the management overall and also ensure that we do a complete onboarding and also the operationally reduce the entire work on how we are going to maintain all of this. So these are some of the activities that will help us on why SaaS is important and what the customers can move to SaaS and what they can leverage out of it. Now, let's try to check with Chetan now on how AWS specifically is helping SaaS companies build their platform, and try to hear from Chetan on the same. Chetan, over to you.
Yeah, hi. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the session. Happy to see so many people in attendance for a short power-packed webinar. And thanks, Atriya, as well. Well articulated on the necessity of SaaS in the current day and age. And before I start my introduction, so my name is Chetan, and I work as a senior solution architect with AWS in India. For those of you who are not aware what AWS, I'm sure most of you have already heard about it, but AWS is the most widely used comprehensive cloud platform providing on-demand delivery of technology and services in a pay-as-you-go model. AWS has more than 1 million customers currently who have trusted AWS to run their infrastructure and applications securely on the cloud. Next slide. So Atriya mentioned about the importance of SaaS, and this is something that I see in the day-to-day conversation with a lot of the customers and CTOs as well. As part of their digital transformation journey, SaaS is one of the key aspects that they are considering as a technology strategy. Now, I already told you that AWS is one of the most widely used cloud platform in the world, right, with millions of customers. But why would you want to build your SaaS application on AWS? I'd like to highlight it with 3 points, right? So the first one is on the differentiated technology So what I was talking about is why are customers looking to build their SaaS offerings on AWS? So there are three primary reasons. The first one is the differentiated technologies and services available on AWS. We have 200 plus fully featured services from high performance compute to analytics to AI, ML or IoT, right? And it can serve any kind of a workload as well as a domain, whether you're in a healthcare or telecom or any other segment as well. The second reason is the thought leadership. So AWS has a vast experience working with successful SaaS companies, right? For example, like Netflix and Intuit, all of them are hosted on AWS. So AWS makes available a broad range of resources, tools, best practices for your SaaS transformation. You can leverage these best practices and expertise from AWS to build your organizational, operational, and technical capabilities. And the third one is the go-to-market support, right? AWS has very specific programs to support SaaS builders to build and go to market with their SaaS offerings. We have offerings like SaaS Factory, which I'll probably touch upon a little bit later. We have other things like SaaS Boost as well as Marketplace, right? So using Marketplace, customers can subscribe and fulfill the orders for SaaS products on AWS with the minimum friction, right? So that was one of the main expectations from a SaaS product. So you can host your SaaS applications on AWS Marketplace and make it available in an easy onboarding format for your customers. So AWS, to understand what were the benefits for the SaaS builders on AWS, they commissioned a Forrester Consulting to examine the business opportunity and return of investment that customers may realize by building and scaling SaaS practice with AWS. So this is based on the customers who have built their SaaS applications on AWS, right? So the numbers and metrics kind of speaks to the success of it. One of the greatest advantages of delivering SaaS on AWS that was highlighted in the survey was the improved time to value, right? Customers can be agile and can quickly get a return on investment with a SaaS application. So the first thing is the customers are able to reduce the time to develop minimum viable product by about 30 to 50%, right? With an average of 12 months. And all this happens because of the AWS differentiated service offering. Secondly, they could expedite the deployments to new geographies by leveraging AWS data centers and infrastructure across the globe. So launching in a new location with AWS reduce the time to availability of services from an average of 6 months down to an amazing 6 to 8 weeks, right? So there's a reduction of 69 to 77%. Thirdly, on AWS, they were able to leverage tools such as machine learning platform of SageMaker to deliver customized application environments to individual customers, thus reducing the time to usage as much as 96%. And lastly, by adopting SaaS on AWS, the SaaS providers noted significant efficiencies across their engineering and development teams. For example, developers could deploy their applications in almost 1/6 of the time with native AWS services such as AWS ECS or the container service. So by no longer having to focus on the infrastructure layer, you can reinvest your time and budget into ongoing innovation and trying to improve your customer experience. Next slide. So now you might be wondering, right? How do I get started on? I have an application or I have an IP. How do I go about building a SaaS application? So AWS has a recommended reference architecture and guide for you to go about. So initially, you would start by building up a foundation for your multi-tenant architecture. So this involves all the common shared services like DevOps, onboarding, identity, routing, right? So you initially start creating all this kind of basic building blocks. And AWS has out-of-the-box utilities with SaaS Boost, which you can use to start creating this. And once you're done with creating the foundation, then you bring in your new or existing application into this particular platform and make it available for your customer. Next slide, please. Now, when you're bringing your application onto the cloud, typically we see there are three distinct architectural models, how you would construct or bring over your SaaS application onto the cloud. The first is the silo model, right? In which you build and manage a separate environment for each customer, right? So this is typically like how you would probably do it on premise. It's easy to lift and shift and quick to get started with. This is usually preferred, right, when you're starting out. But the challenge with this is that it's not very agile. And it includes a lot of operational overhead because you're managing multiple environments for different customers. The second is the bridge mode. This is where you share some of the common services, but still maintain a separate service and a DB layer for your data isolation. And this we have seen primarily used with customers who want to have like a separate data strategy for their tenants. And the final one is the pooled model, right? This enables you to be highly agile and scalable. So you're sharing the complete infrastructure, but however, still maintaining the isolation of your tenants as well as their data. And that is where you realize the true potential of the cloud and the maximum cost optimization in terms of operation efforts. The next one. So I spoke to you about a couple of ways, right? About setting up your common shared services and your architectures, right? It might look a little bit intimidating in the beginning, right? But you don't have to worry with AWS, right? Like I was talking about the thought leadership that AWS provides. So one such program that AWS has is called as a SaaS factory program. So this provides a prescriptive business and technical guidance and best practices for business across different industries, regions, and segments. This program brings together a targeted combination of SaaS content, tooling, resources that can provide guidance, direction, and expertise to accelerate and maximize SaaS solution, right? And it was launched in 2017, and since then it has enabled hundreds of our APN partners and helped them to build SaaS offerings on AWS. This included some of the leaders such as F5, Trend Micro, Dell Boomi, and many more. So we don't just give you guidance on the technical part of it. This program also understands the relevance of business, because this is not, SaaS is not just a technical strategy, it's a business model change, right? So AWS also helps you in building out the product roadmap, packaging, pricing constructs, along with the architectural elements, right? About selecting the right kind of an architecture or a partner service to be implemented. Next slide. So all of these SaaS providers in the slide have accelerated their launches on AWS by partnering with the SaaS factory, right? So you might recognize quite a few of the names in here. So not just by enabling the customers, but we also enable partners like Rapyder, right, with all the best practices, who can then provide the same kind of a guidance and same kind of a support for our end customers to build their SaaS application on AWS. And hope to see some of your logos as well on the slide soon. So this concludes my talk. These are some additional resources. Probably the slide will be shared with you at the end of this webinar, and you can refer to some of these and reach out to AWS or Rapyder for further guidance. Yeah. Thank you. Over to you, Athreya.
Thank you, Chetan. Thanks a lot. So coming back to what we have done as part of SaaSification, I want to just share a case study that we have done last year with one of the customers called Tally Solutions. I think most of you might have heard Tally as part of any one of you who has done business will have heard about Tally for their ERP and finance management softwares. So Tally, when we started talking to them along with AWS, they were completely a client server model. It's not even a client server model. It gets installed on the laptop of the accountants who feed in the data. It stores as part of individual things, and it has to be part of a laptop or a system as who is working on that particular thing, right? It was in the minds of everybody that Tally can never be a SaaS kind of model where they can access it from anywhere. What was the challenge? COVID was the challenge, right? There were so many people that got affected who could not go to offices. Most of the accountants, finance guys will be having desktops who would be working on their office desktops, and they couldn't go there. And everybody's business got affected so much that Indian government has to push the GST filing also. They had to give a little breather to everybody for them to come back into office and file the GST. That's when we started working with Tally along with AWS to see how we can SaaSify their offering on the cloud so that the accountants from anywhere in wherever they are sitting, they should be able to efficiently log in to their own systems and feed the data. And also the thing was, it was a multi-user and a single user system as well. So there was some data privacy that needs to be pointed out, and that was the challenge here, right? So what we did along with AWS and Tally, of course, worked with the customer, understood what is their current way of deployment, what are the intricacies of their SaaS platform that they're using, what are the customers asking for, in terms of seamless experience by not changing any of the way they are working right now. Given Tally was like more than a 45 years software, nobody was interested to change the way it looks. So there was no model for modernizing or anything. So what we did, we worked with the customer to continuously work with them. We gave a model like Chetan explained, the bridge model, where customers come in on a common platform, I access their own data, which will get, we built it on containers using ECS actually. So whenever a new customer gets onboarded, they get onboarded within 5 minutes. And whenever he wants to upgrade, it gets upgraded within 10 minutes, which is what the value add for the customer is, right? Apart from the cost also came down drastically when they were using a remote desktop based connection to access their systems, which was being provided by other providers. This solution gave them flexibility to access this from anywhere, automated onboarding, upgradation within minutes, and also plan changes from one to the other, right? These are all the configurations that we did for them, and that made immense effect on the consumers right now. Currently, Tally Prime has close to 10,000 users who are accessing this system on this platform right now within 4 months of launching of this particular application early in this January. This is the success story that we have brought about along with AWS on AWS for the customer to see value here, right? Now, coming back to what Rapyder does today. So we have close to 5 AWS partner programs that we have. Right from immersion day, if you are new to cloud, we can help you to get immersed into cloud. That is the main reason of an immersion day that we do with you. And we are also well-architected review partner with AWS so that we can see how well you have currently architected your workload and how can we do better. We also have several distinguished competencies right from DevOps to Microsoft. We understand how Microsoft workloads are run on cloud. And also we are leading MCP partner, that is migration and competency partner for AWS. And we also have additionally a lot of service delivery competencies, whether it is serverless or whether it is migration related. We have competency in all of this, including database and security based services as well. When it comes to Rapyder, we do primarily 5 different kinds of offerings that we have. One is migration or consulting that we do, where we help you to move from your on-prem or any other cloud to AWS. Second one is we have DevOps, where we modernize your applications, SaaSify your applications, and then try to make it an easy go-to-market for you with a faster pace. Then we have managed services, which is our team, which will be an extended part of your team. We will become the infra management team for you once you move to cloud. Then we have a data analytics team, which accesses your data, understands what business acumen that you can build out of the data that you are generating, and see how we can give better visibility into your data for increasing your business overall, right? Now, what are the key takeaways that you can take from this session? Right? The thing is, everybody, if you have any product that you are serving any kind of customer today in the market, SaaS is for you. So we will help you to build the SaaS, conceptualize it. Please reach out to us, and we along with AWS are here to help you to kind of how to tell you how you can change the way you perceive business, how can you build recurring revenue for your business, and also ensure that how can this take it to next level by accelerating your journey on AWS to SaaS with AWS and us. This is what we can provide you as a service today. Please reach out to us if you have any idea of or anything, any business that you are running which is not SaaS, or if you want to improve any SaaS on your side, we are happy to help you here. Right? So that's all we had. Before we go to question and answer, we have one small poll again. We have close to 2 questions which we will do it. So we will definitely look into that. So Shankar, can we have the next poll please for next 30 seconds, and then we'll go to this So yeah, I think we have a couple of questions. I think one question is there where how SaaS differs from other service model like IaaS and PaaS. So this is a question from Sam. Hi, Sam. IaaS and PaaS are more service offerings of the cloud provider where you can use your applications to host it on either infrastructure or use a hosted service like an RDS or this one where how you can use it to do deployment of your application. When it comes to SaaS, it works differently. You can give your application itself as a service for people to use, right? That's the difference between SaaS and IaaS and PaaS. You can also see that if you have an offering where you can have other customers use it for you, I think that itself will become a SaaS offering for you. Chetan, anything you want to add here?
Yeah, I would say that it differs on the responsibility scale, right? With IaaS, right, it's infrastructure as a service. So you get a compute environment, you install things and you kind of manage it, you operate it, right? And you kind of create a service on top of it and you use it. With a PaaS, you have quite a lot of the things set up, but you still kind of bring in your business logic, right? And you still are responsible for some part of the operations, like taking backups and ensuring that it's highly available. With a SaaS offering, the responsibility is completely with the SaaS provider, right? So you just get a login screen, you log in and start using the services in there, right? How you would probably do like using a Zomato app or Netflix or something like that, right? So you do not care what is the infrastructure it runs behind, what is the database they use behind the screens. You just get a web-based application, you use it to run your business, right? So that is the responsibility is where I would see the difference as.
Yeah, so one more question was the reusability of bring your own licenses or on-premise licenses to cloud-based licenses, which you have answered in the chat, but you could take maybe 10-20 seconds to re-emphasize, Chetan.
Yeah, so licensing, obviously, we've seen a lot of the customers being able to bring over their licenses to the cloud, right? Obviously, it also depends on case-to-case basis. We are kind of specialized, and even a partner like Rapyder are specialized in understanding the licensing constructs. They can work with you, look at your licensing contracts, and tell you how feasible it is to bring it over to the cloud. But you have seen plenty of customers being able to port their license without any kind of a hassle or additional charge and bring it to the cloud environment.
Yeah, okay. One more question from Mr. Atul Srivastava is that how does AWS score over competitors like Google and Azure?
Over data security, specifically.
Right. Yeah, rather than talking about the competition part of it, I'll talk what is available on AWS, right? So AWS has quite a lot of compliance and auditing done on their cloud environment, right? And it's all publicly available for everybody to have a look at it. So any kind of a government or regulatory kind of compliance that you're looking for, AWS would have it, most of it. If something is missing, you can definitely let us know, and we'll make sure that you that is available on AWS as well. Like I said, what you can rely on is the trust factor. Like I said, we have millions of large customers across the segments, across the industries who are using AWS. So AWS is serving government customers, right? Which requires probably the topmost kind of a security. We are serving banking customers, financial customers, right? And adapting to all their security and compliance requirements, right? So the same security is available for all the customers who use AWS, right? So it's not specific for only the large customers. That is the beauty of using cloud. So when you use cloud, whatever is available for all our big customers, whether it is a government or Netflix or any large bank, the same security is available for your data and your infrastructure as well.
Thanks, Chetan. Just to add one more thing, Atul, to what Chetan told, the another main advantage of running it on the cloud is that you can automate the remediations also and the responses that are coming, right? Because everything is kind of, you can code it, you can automatically block the ports, you can automatically take actions also without having to have any manual intervention. That makes it easier for you, and a lot of APIs, which will make it easier to kind of better maintain the infrastructure also. I think we have one more question. I don't know whether it's related. It's called, what is Agile? Agile is the way of working, Sam. So maybe we can have a different discussion. Maybe it's not related to this. We can have a subsequent conversation on that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it was used in one of the slides. Maybe that is the reason he
Yeah,
asked
yeah.
for it. So when we say agile, it is being able to make changes to your application on the fly multiple times in a day, right? Rather than waiting for a monthly release to do changes to your software. So that is what a SaaS application kind of helps you to do, right? Release new changes and features to your customers as quickly as possible. That is agile in this context.
Okay, I think
Great.
we've had all the questions. If more questions are there, please drop it in Q&A box. We will answer it maybe offline because we have finished the allocated 31 minutes. We promised to wrap this up in 30 minutes. We have done that. So thanking each participant, each person who registered, and yes, we'll share the PPT. Sushant Pawar had sent a suggestion. We'll send a PDF version of this PPT to all the registered participants. Thanking you once again for sparing 30 minutes of your valuable working day. Thanks, Chetan. Thanks to all the participants from the Rapyder customer base as well as Rapyder sales team.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.